according to us. But,
Can you hear me? Hi,
Looks green now.
Hi.
我这两个人都不认识。
没声音了，
嗯
进去了。
嗯。
Hi. Hello.
就这样。
Nobody. I'm gonna try this.
开始了还是没开？
开始没开始
啊？
没有，他们的也得塞到，哦，他们你看，他们也在看，塞到。
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. We have a feedback.
What do you think?
Yeah, mute.
每次都是这样，
是你不对还是你？
他们不对。
他问你有没有听见？
没有，
嗯。
这个 Gloria 倒是。哦，这是教育 ，school 教育。
他们还没开始啊，那是里面弄对，
还没弄对
已经6点半了，
啊？
已经6点半了。
Hi. Hi. Hello?
Why is it still on? Thank you. Okay. Oh, everybody's gone, except Ed. What is Ed on? Where did Rich go?
I don't know. I don't know. It's still on, but. Oh, God.
Yes, they're different. So where's the control for this one? Oh, yeah. Can we just turn this off?
I can't even answer that question.
Should we turn that off and then go from our computer?
That's what I'm saying. Or can you try one more time?
All right. Hi, Patricia Lariat.
There it is.
There? But then where's everybody else? Where did Rich go? Hi, well, Ed is there. This room is here, but I don't see our other committee members.
Should we text Rich? Who else was on? I think.
And then Darlene's here, Nicole's here. I'm gonna promote Nicole.
Okay.
Somebody said it sounds good now, no reverb. But then on this end, you can hear it.
Wait.
So that always has to be, I guess that has to be 0 or something?
Yeah, but I don't see,
Yeah.
oh, she declined. All right, she declined. She doesn't want to be promoted. I'm sorry, everyone. We were having some technical difficulties. We resolved it, but we've lost Ed Rich Pacapolo. I hope he logs back in. Can someone text him? Or
Oh, I don't think,
you have his number?
I don't think they do. Let me go check it. Can somebody email me?
All right, welcome to the Schools and Education Committee meeting this evening. Patricia Larrier is your chair. To my left or your right is Mark Fitzgerald, our new vice chair. To my right is Keen Berger, committee member. Emma Smith, committee member. Ed Ma Wade, he's our committee member. And we're waiting for Rich Acapolo to rejoin. I see we have from Councilmember Butcher's office, Nicole Park as an attendee, and our regular attendee, Darlene Lutz, thank you for coming. Our Lutz, apologies, Darlene. We are going to be discussing budgetary needs for fiscal year 2026 for our local schools. Mara and I, over the last 2 weeks, reached out to all of our schools in the area, PS3, PS 130. I'm gonna pull up my spreadsheet. PS 41, PS 130, 75 Morton, Broome Street Academy, Chelsea Technical Education, City High School, Harvest Collegiate High School, Harvey Milk High School, and New York City I School. And so we've heard from a majority of them, not all. And I'm gonna go over, we wrote asking them if they have heard if they received funding from fiscal year 2025. And they haven't heard anything as yet because it's too soon. And there is no funding been allocated to them. So the funding for
FY20.
for
Explain how it works, if there's any, well.
Hmm?
Is there anyone here who does? All right, no, so we do our district needs 2 years ahead. Okay, so for instance, we would then be examining what was given up to 2024, requests we made back in 2022.
Yes.
Okay. And now in 2024, we're going to 2026, but we're also looking at what was received in 2025. It's actually still a little bit early because the council people who usually allocate these funds
have not met yet.
that hasn't happened yet. So also it's a little early. We typically do this later in the month because of a scheduling issue in October. September.
We had to.
We're doing it a little earlier than usual.
Welcome back, Rich. Sorry, we were having technical difficulties. We've now resolved them. I introduced our committee members and we're just explaining to Emma what the FY26 budget needs are of our local schools.
That was helpful to understand the timelines.
And the timeline.
And the timeline.
Yeah.
We were explaining that we are doing this a little earlier than usual. We usually do this in October, but we're doing it now to get ahead of it because Mark has a meeting in September about fiscal year 26 with other district managers, and he wants to get ahead of the curve because he handles schools' requests for this area. We heard back from PS3, and they still require library furniture, cafeteria furniture, and a science lab.
But cafeteria is
Not a capital.
not a capital expense, as they have to be 50 grand or over, 50K or over. We were talking to Nicole about this earlier and I said, well, is there a way to reword it? Cafeteria upgrade, but we typically just generally what they ask for and don't put a dollar amount because the responsible agency goes in or should go in and ask, and also the city council office also does the same work. They ask as well. And so we really just collect the information from the schools. And sometimes what comes back is, you know, this is not the responsible agency, or this does not qualify as a budget request.
Mhm. Okay,
So it depends. If you guys actually, should we do a link to last year's maybe? You can see how it comes back and how the agencies respond.
all right, you have to be a co-host if you want to link it. Okay, continuing, PS 41, we've done outreach. They did not, respond to our outreach in the last 2 weeks. So I think they're fine with funding. PS 130, which is, downtown in Chinatown, is asking for an upgrade to windows on the buildings and light fixtures, as well as, new trees in 2 tree pits in front of their schools. I went down and that's a 311 request, so I reached out to Caitlin, who is in Councilmember Marte's office, and they're gonna be getting those 2 new trees in the fall. But the window upgrade and light fixtures is a huge expense, so in talking with Caitlin in Councilmember Marte's office, they're going to add that to the SCA 5-year plan. So that's in the works. So they're in communication about that.
Yeah.
Going on to 75 Morton. All right, they requested an upgrade to their playground, and they wanted a permanent basketball hoops. Councilmember Erica Botcher's office gave them over $300,000 for capital improvements. And we reached out to the school again this year, and they said they had to pause with the work on the play area because that play area is useful to the kids during the year. So they had to pause that work for now because it's crucial for outdoor play. The next school, what was this? Broome Street Academy. They wanted a cafeteria upgrade and library upgrade. And they have no funding for that as well. So that would also go back into fiscal year 2025. Chelsea Career and Technical Education, which is a high school. They wanted an upgrade to their gymatorium, leveling the floor and replacing seats with bleachers. And they're asking if that is not possible, they would like air conditioners installed in the gymatorium, as well as AC in their classroom. The next school, City Ave School, is requesting gender neutral bathrooms to service 500 students. So with that, I know that Councilmember Botcher's office has been in contact with the contact there. I know Nicole has been in contact with them. And SCA is gonna investigate to see what is really required.
Yeah, but they don't have general, what do they have?
They do have bathrooms, but the majority of the bathrooms in that school are used by faculty. And they just put in a new elevator, which cut into a lot of the bathroom spaces. And I guess faculty can't share with students, so that's why they want more bathrooms for the students. But SCA has to come in to investigate to see what they can do to fix that. And they want gender neutral bathrooms so that, you know, any board can use how they identify.
Right. I mean, I'm stunned that a school doesn't have bathrooms.
They do have bathrooms, but they would like more, but because they just put in that new elevator, it, you know,
They took out bathrooms.
Yeah, it took space away from their other bathrooms with the elevator, yeah. Harvest Collegiate High School, we've heard from that principal in the past. They're waiting on 30 math books And, what else? 30 MacBooks and something about filmmaking and graphic design, robotic for their robotic classes, as well as they're requiring outdoor space. But I think what they primarily want is more technology, which is the MacBooks. Harvey Milk would like smart boards in 9 areas. I've connected Councilmember Rivera's person, Katie Loeb, with that principal just this week. And so that they can, you know, talk about funding for that school going forward. New York I School shares the same building with Chelsea Career Technical School. They're in the same building. There's 2 separate, one is a regular high school and one is more a trade school. And it's the same request. They want upgrades to the gymatorium and leveling the floor, replacing with bleachers. Let's see. And I think that's all of our schools. We have not heard from the D75 schools in 75 Morton. We've reached out to her numerous times, but have not heard anything from her. So those are the schools that we've heard from over the last 2 weeks. And it's pretty much the same: technology, gyms, improvement, air conditioning, and so forth.
That's capital.
So, yeah, so let me see if I can share. Do you have any question? You have a question?
It's how good of you to reach out and ask them and get them to coordinate and connect them with the people. I mean,
Yeah,
you've already done good work for this community.
yeah, thank you.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's good that the reps from the council member's office, they connect
Exactly.
with the principal, the right people.
Exactly.
So that we're.
That's
kept out
part of
it.
our, I mean, that in theory is our job. Like all
Mhm.
government agencies work for the community. Communicate.
Right, now we're gonna talk about expenses. In last year's, should I share this document on the screen?
It's not really.
All right, in last year's FY 25, our number 1 was to allocate funds for New York City Men Teach to recruit, train, and retain talented, non-traditional public school teachers in order to close the representation gap between our students and those who teach them. That was our number 1. Second was to allocate funds for teacher training and reading and writing curricular that uses a structured literacy approach. The third one was allocate funds to maintain the most recent baseline fundings for arts education. And then the fourth was allocate funds for city environment quality review, seeker process to fund, cite, and build new public schools. And the last one was to allocate free after-school programs for families. That was our expense in last year's, and we're gonna continue that for fiscal year 2026, sorry. In fiscal year 2025, our biggest capital was the Bleecker Street School, which everyone knows. They kicked it down the road, so, you know. But in place of that, we've been talking with Lainey Hameson from Class Size Matters, and we wrote a resolution recently about, because this is now a law, that we have the DOE allocate 137 million for hiring teachers, to cover about 1,300 out of the estimated 10 to 12,000 teachers needed in our schools.
Yeah, I mean, and that also speaks to our regular support of NYC Men Teach. I mean, we need and want more teachers anyway, I think generally speaking. But yes, we need money for teachers and to implement the law, which it is now.
To have smaller class sizes, yeah. So in place of the Bleecker, we're gonna put in the request for the smaller class sizes. And I think that covers everything.
We may still hear back from the schools that we have yet to hear from. I don't know how that works, how to amend this.
Well, I can reach out. We're not meeting in July and August, this committee, but I can reach out to the principals over the summer, leading up to our September meeting
And there's a chance we could vote on this
in September.
maybe in September, we'll procedurally, I think Rich wants to say.
Oh, Rich, go ahead, please. You're muted.
Do you have the feedback?
Oh, we have to unmute one of our devices.
I'm unmuted now.
I'm
Do you
not
have the-
attached to the audio.
Hold on. I can't hear him.
I'll do it.
I'll put it in the chat.
I can't hear him.
Try again.
Um, Put it in chat.
Okay, he's gonna put it in the chat. I'm muted. He says.
Can you see in the chat?
Share the feedback we have received previous year.
I put it in the chat. It's the link in the chat. Oh, it's 2022 through 2025 is in the chat.
Drop it in the chat, Eric.
All right, I'll put it back in.
Oh, he sees it? Okay. We're good? Okay. So that's basically what we did. Can they hear me?
And often we ask for the same things many years in a row.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the schools always want technology upgrades. But the technology, wanes after 3 to 5 years, so that's always something that they always need. But that's the work of this committee. And Mara and I will reach out again to the principals over the summer. We will talk about this again in September and vote. Okay, go ahead, Emma.
I have a question. It doesn't sound like that there was feedback to this extent and it seems fine, but was there any mention of like additional ELL needs supports, like kind of school support that might be helpful for
mention it.
asylum seeking students?
Today the mayor announced. Press.
Oh, do you think there's a
Can you guys still hear us?
Wi-Fi thing?
Yeah, Rich said, yeah.
I'm ignoring them. I'm ignoring them right now. Here it is.
I won't let you do it, huh?
Yeah, no, I can't even like hover over that.
And put this in the chat. So the mayor today announced education vision, funding for ASD and students with disability. Here it is.
I don't see, you dropped it in?
No, I didn't drop it in yet because it's daily news, which is going to be paywalled.
Oh.
Here it is. Here's the press release from the mayor, which I will put in the chat now. And for Emma, since you're off the computer.
No, I'll type it real quick. Thank you.
But I'll tell you what it said. So Mayor Adams, Chancellor Banks unveil more equitable vision for future of New York City public schools with, no, this is the math thing. No, this is it. This is from today. Of course, there's no pressure. It is a YouTube video. I am not sure exactly what it does, but it is for exactly the people you are asking for, and it's supposed to be a very good thing. I just have not had a chance to read it today. But there's money I did see there was money. Here it is.
Thank you.
Yes, there it is. All right. The mayor and the chancellor today unveiled their vision for the future of New York City Public Schools with the launch of New York City Solve, a major citywide initiative. The math chart. This is the one, dial. The Adams administration also announced the creation of the Division of Inclusive and Accessible Learning, also known as DIAL, DIAL. Longtime Chief of Special Education, Christina Fati, will be elevated to Deputy Chancellor to lead this new division. Under her leadership, this new division will focus on supporting multilingual learners and students with disabilities. Reflecting Mayor Adams' commitment to serving all students and families, this new division will build holistic educational experiences for every student, no matter their background or ability. That equip them to graduate on a pathway to a rewarding career. And then there are the customary quotes. But there was money behind it. I did read, here it is, $750 million budget.
Okay.
And approximately 1,300 staff members will advance work programs and opportunities to support these students.
That's awesome. Thank you.
There's that.
There you go. Timely. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
All right,
But, you know, from your head to reality, even faster than we could imagine.
We're gonna add.
You gotta feel it.
I'm just gonna never get this done today.
do you have another question? No? All right, well, I already told you what's on the plan for us this summer and the fall, so I don't think we have any other agenda items.
Well, I mean, my big concern is special funding for the migrant students. Do we have such a thing? Is there
Special
funding for
the
them?
migrant students?
Well, so I think that is what these bilingual programs are supposed to be for. Even though I don't see it said anywhere in the mayor's press release.
We can look into.
But those are the students that are going to benefit most from.
Yes, but I mean, the migrant students need more than just to learn the language. I mean, the whole thing about how to be welcomed into the city and be part of the community fabric. I mean, there must be a whole lot of, if we had, for instance, a dedicated person at the school whose job was to make sure the migrant students had a good school experience every way.
The resolution on this year already.
Yeah, but I know, but in terms of funding, I mean, this resolutions or this is what should happen. I don't know. That was my other thought of what we might put
Let's go
in.
back to that resolution and see, because we asked for a lot in that resolution, like we were very specific. Because we went through the entire city plan, we went through the mayor's entire plan, and we picked it apart. And we heard from the schools, we heard from the PTA, it was a very robust discussion from the schools, from the parents, from the PTAs and SLTs at our district schools and the principals. We spoke to all of them. What supports do you need? What is this plan not providing you? Schools in our district, you know, we were talking about what, like one school got 12.
I know, remember,
Asylum, do you remember
but
that?
I remember, but 130 got 12. I think PS3 did not get many. But anyway, I'm just, and it of course changes from
I don't.
year to
where
year.
Would that fall? Would that fall in expense? Would that, and would it qualify at all? I don't think it would qualify if we advocated that for just our district.
I'm concerned that the way the
It would be an
city
expense.
sees these people
What is?
is sort of other, and we want to un-other them if we
Right.
can.
Because expenses allocate funds for teaching, allocate funds for teacher training, reading, writing curricula. So it would be under expense. So I guess we have to find a way to reiterate what.
But we're talking about staff. And I feel like we've already uplifted staff. And we've already written a resolution deploying that staff specifically to the asylum seeking family. I don't know how we would put that in here, but let's think about it and then figure out how to put it in.
I just want, you know, obviously, I want to change the mental thinking of the city that we need to spend extra, to make sure these people are integrated within our culture and therefore extra to integrate them within our schools. And you know, I've heard such things about how the kids are sort of lost. And it's not just a language thing.
I'm sure that that's true. I will say that my daughter's last school, you know, they were very well integrated and became very quickly became, you know, a part of the fabric of the school community. And, you know, we're not identifiable from any of the other kids because they are just kids and the same. My kid's current school, I don't think maybe has, she actually did tell me like one or two, but again,
Well, that may be, maybe I'm wrong.
Heard from from PS3. The issues were not really about the community coming around.
No, it was about the
families. It was the transportation issue was the problem, that they weren't getting their Metro cards. But, you know, there are schools where all the kids don't get their Metro card.
I know that. I know.
So, but we never heard back from them on that. And we did write the resolution and we did follow up because we were also dealing with PIST on that, right?
Yeah.
The Transportation Advocacy Parent Organization. So, I mean, I personally have no problem, you know, asking for money for them, but we have to know exactly what we're asking for. And I don't know that a single staff member or staff members, since the city already has an office specific to this, I don't know how we can advocate it in our district.
Maybe, you know,
Maybe it's a different meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe we revisit, maybe we do another meeting, you know, if it's appropriate. I don't even know if that's appropriate, like, you know, asylum seeking, our newest students a year later, or like, I don't know what that is, but let's talk about it and figure out how we can further advocate. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. I mean, you're right, maybe it's an expanded thing about how we, you know, what the process is when a student arrives in the city and enters the school. Is there a smooth process? Just
And
find
stays
out.
in the school.
What?
And stays in the school.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we also did a resolution on the 60-day shelter rule.
Right.
It's a big topic. I think it might warrant its own meeting.
Yeah. So we'll do that in the fall.
Now, let's do that in the fall as more kids are coming into the public school
Yeah.
system.
All right, I have it in my notes, so we'll follow up on this. And follow up on the resolution that we submitted to.
It's a good connection point for a lot of the work that we've done. Yeah.
Right. So, Rich, you still have your hand up, it's just up from before? Oh, okay. So then I think this covers what we were gonna discuss this evening, and I think if there's no further discussion, I'm gonna end this meeting, okay?
Thank you for all your work.
Thank
All right.
you.
Very extensive.
You know where you can reach us.
Have a good summer, everybody.
Thank you for logging in. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the start. Good night.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you. Good night.
And then if you wouldn't mind ending our meeting.
Do that. And we successfully do.
At the bottom.
Just leave.
Yeah. Thank you, Emma.
Yes.
好了，没了。没了。对呀，混蛋。完了。完了。 完了，
开完了，没人大概。
5、6个人。按这个什么这个 quorum 还不够，我看，起码8个人。
他叫你啊？
哎，